Hello, my name is Elizabeth Machie. My team members are Dustin Priest, Mario Gill, Bradley Snizik, and Sam Weaver. We are Team 2 Pickle Salvage for IST456 at Penn State University, Fall 2015. This presentation covers the recent Vtech leapfrog data breach and how it relates to information security management.
A few weeks ago, a cyber attack targeting a global supplier of electronic learning products and the largest manufacturer of cordless phones, exposing millions of adults and children profiles, which included names, gender, and birth dates. Stolen data on the parents included name, mailing addresses, email addresses, security questions and answers for password retrieval, IP addresses, and encrypted passwords. The data breach of Vtech was significant because it not only targeted adults, but children. Moreover, this provided a wake-up call for families to realize that their online data may not be safe. The next slide provides an outline of the Vtech data breach. In the next few segments, Team 2 will go into the specifics of the Vtech data breach provided by Mr. Gill, the relevance to information security management provided by Ms. Machie, the possible negative impacts provided by Mr. Snizik, and finally the possible positive impacts by Mr. Priest.
My name is Mario Gill, and I'll be talking about specifics of the Vtech data breach. There was 6.4 million accounts, children accounts involved in the breach, and 4.9 million adult accounts involved. The interesting part is that Vice News reported the hacker used SQL inserts to gain root access to the server, which is a kind of old technique to gain a root access on the servers. And therefore a hacker had access to all the databases communication where the information was stored. Interesting fact also is that the hacker is not trying to sell or gain any kind of monetary value off of the information stolen. The hacker just wanted to contact Vice to let them know and to let everybody know that the Vtech is actually not protecting all the information, children information, which is really important, and adult information. Hacker as it stands is not going to do anything specific with the information. Vtech shut down after the finding out about the breach, shut down the two websites for almost 2 days, and they were trying to work out their problems on the server and try to figure out how to protect themselves.
In relation to information security management, details of the case reveal information security planning. For example, Vtech reports as part of company policy, customer payment card information is not stored or processed by them. Rather, when a customer elects to make a purchase, they are redirected to a third-party site. However, it could be argued that this step simply removes Vtech from liability in the case of financial information compromise, rather than ensuring the security of customer payment card data. As of this reporting, Vtech has not been able to confirm whether children's photos, audio files, and chat logs were also compromised. However, it has been reported by tech-related consumer watch group Motherboard that such compromise did occur. If this is the case, Vtech would need to report such activity to the appropriate legal authorities, as their unique market and product makes them a potential target for crimes beyond the scope of what the organization may have a personal interest in preventing, but still has a legal obligation to report. The method for engaging with law enforcement should be outlined in the security plan as well as the incident response plan. Lastly, Vtech is a company headquartered in Hong Kong. This brings up the issue of multinational information security compliance, as organizations have to be aware that compliance standards vary from country to country, and while Vtech reports complying with high information security standards and principles, information privacy standards differ from country to country which can make assurance of confidentiality and integrity difficult to manage.
In this next section, we're going to look at possible negative impacts of the Vtech data breach. The first one being, even though the child profile information only included their name, gender, and date of birth, which can typically show up daily in local news birth announcements, this is still an invasion of their privacy. Also, the children's personal information could be used for identity theft potentially at some point down the road. An even bigger concern with potential negative impact is the breach of the parent account information, which included their names, email addresses, password details, home mailing addresses, and IP addresses. This level of personal information can make them susceptible to having other accounts such as their credit cards, banks, credit unions, and other investments hacked. Aside from the data breach impacting the children and their parents, it can also have a negative impact on Vtech as a company on several different levels. One of those being customer trust and loyalty. As one example, a company by the name of SafeNet conducted a global survey and found that data breaches that involve only personal identifiable information can also affect customer loyalty, with 57% of the respondents saying that they would most likely stop using the services of an organization that suffered such a breach. And then there are also 3 different impacts and costs associated with the data breach that could impact Vtech. The first one being direct costs, which could include forensic investigations, credit monitoring services, lawsuits, additional fines, adding additional security and personnel requirements, and insurance premiums. And then the last 2 sections are revenue loss, could impact their brand reputation, and also their credit card use may be suspended by the credit card providers. And the third category is business disruption, which could have negative impacts on their stock price, management changes, and opportunity costs.
There is a possibility that this may have been a case of benevolent hacking. If that is true, then the hacker or hackers responsible have spurred a conversation about information security in the child toy market, which previously had not been receiving major attention. This is not out of the realm of possibility, as similar cases have been reported, such as a case reported by Forbes in which a hacker gained access to 10,000 home routers in October of 2015 in order to make them more secure. In that case, the hacker or hackers created a program called Wi-Patch to discover vulnerabilities on the telnet port and prompt the user to change their router password from the default settings. For Vtech, this could be a similar case in which the hackers simply want to make users aware of security vulnerabilities in their children's toys. Beyond the idea of exposing a previously neglected vulnerability, the Vtech case may also encourage increased user or consumer vigilance. The concepts of information security management are not limited to corporate or large organizational environments. Individuals should and can have some basic level exposure to the principles of information security management in order to better protect their own data and that of their families. There have been cases, such as those cited in Fairfax County, Virginia, of teens charged with crimes for distributing inappropriate content. It can reasonably be assumed that a child may inadvertently provide such content as well as using Vtech devices. The decision to let children store pictures and personal information on digital devices, whether they are toys or not, should be up to the parent's discretion. However, such decisions can be better informed by a fuller understanding of the technical and legal implications. The Vtech data breach presents a unique information security concern in that it brings up the question of whether children can provide data that is attractive to bad people, and who has responsibility for providing protections over whatever digital content is being created and stored by children. This concludes our presentation. Thank you for watching.